All right, so let's get this thing going. Let me have your first and last name, please.
My name's Chris Ehmling.
And you are a Libertarian candidate. What office are you running for?
I am running for the New Mexico House of Representatives here in District 54.
All right, so what sets you apart from the other candidates?
Currently, I'm only running against one candidate right now, the Republican candidate. He's the current mayor of Artesia. What sets me apart is the fact that I haven't held political office. I've never held office in my life. Closest thing to it is being the vice chair of the Eddy County Libertarian Party. I've worked across the country in grassroots elections and activism for nearly a decade. So I have not only a sense of the issues that face New Mexico, but issues all across the country that I've heard so many different ideas from that give me a fresh perspective for new ideas to fix our current problems.
Give me a couple of examples of the issues you plan on addressing if elected.
The main issues that I'm focusing on are election reform and the current literacy crisis in our state. When it comes to election reform, I see the current districting, the way we do our redistricting, as an issue. We see all the time more and more districts being placed into Albuquerque at the expense of small town and rural communities. For example, myself and my opponent, we both live in Artesia, and our district spreads all the way to Tularosa and La Luz, and I believe that folks in Tularosa and La Luz deserve local representation, which is why my plan to address redistricting is to propose that each county in New Mexico functions as a legislative district with one senator and two representatives each. That way, each county, each community has local, fair, and equal representation as compared to everyone else in the state. When it comes to the literacy issue, my big idea is community-driven after-school literacy programs, where leaders in our community, educators, parents, students, we all come together and we face this literacy problem head-on, whether we can help with it or we need help with it ourselves. When we bring our community together, we can solve all the big issues that are facing us.
You know, it is so refreshing to hear someone say this, and as a libertarian, it's part of my belief system too, but it's still nice to hear someone say that the solutions to our problems lie within the people and not the government.
Of course. Every single day, I watch the news and I see stuff being talked about what's going on at the Roundhouse, and I go to work, I talk with my coworkers, I talk with my friends. It seems as though everyone that I talk to has a different perspective, a different idea of how we can fix these things. And whenever I watch the news, it seems that everyone in the government will either ignore some things or just think that the same things that we've been doing, which haven't worked, are going to somehow miraculously work now. And I think that it's time for someone who wants to listen to the different ideas from people across the district to help solve these issues rather than just, say, listening to their political party.
Literacy is a major problem, and it's just a piece of a problem that affects the entire land of enchantment. Being that we are 51st in the nation in education out of 50 states is beyond embarrassing. And yet, neither really party seems to have any idea as to what to do about it.
Right. Education, literacy, like you said, these are big, important issues. And the fact that we are last in the nation in education and in literacy, it's completely appalling. I currently work as a substitute teacher here in Artesia. And, my experience with working in the school system gives me a new, fresh perspective. A lot of the time, we see teachers as, mostly activists, they mostly stay in the classroom. But I think that taking my experience in the classroom, even small experience as it is as a sub, can help us solve these problems. Different ways, I think, just like what I said with these community literacy programs, would also be career education in our school system, particularly our junior high and high schools. When I say that, I mean auto shop, Future Farmers of America, things of that nature. Get our students excited and ready about their careers, show them all sorts of different paths that they could take in their life, and get them excited about learning about these things. When we get the students excited, that's when they learn. When they learn, that's whenever our economy is good. These kids, they go to college or they go straight into the workforce and get good paying jobs. If we get them excited about learning, it opens up doors to multiple different opportunities for them.
100% agree. And one of the problems over the past 25 years of both conservatives and liberals is they seem to have put shame on blue-collar employment. Oh, you have to get a good job, making it seem like farming and twisting wrenches and the like are somehow beneath you. And no, that's actually the backbone of this entire nation.
Right, I agree. You know, we can't be telling these kids that they only have one option towards success. And I think that's what discourages them a lot, is that we keep putting into them, you have to go to college or else you're going to be a failure. It's wrong. So many people I know are working blue-collar jobs. They've been able to move up in management super quickly. For example, I have a buddy who works in the oil field. When he was 21, he was able to buy his own property. A lot of people, I'm fixing to be 29, for example, a lot of people my age don't own their property. A lot of them went the school route that we were told to, and we ended up getting piled on in debt. And now, you know, we're just completely discouraged, and we need to help prevent that for the next generation. That's our responsibility.
You know, you mentioned student debt, and that is another issue that seems to be plaguing the nation, and that is, it seems to me that Republicans are kind of inching that direction, and Democrats are openly embracing student debt forgiveness. Explain to our listeners why that is so detrimental to the future of our nation if we were to do that.
Well, on one end, it sets a tone in people's minds that the government's going to come in and save them from decisions that they make which were either uninformed or, you know, just spur of the moment, such as, you know, taking out a giant loan for an education. Not only that, but the possible forgiveness of this money is going to have to get paid off by somebody. And considering the last time the government wanted to send money to all sorts of people, the stimulus checks, all of the stimulus checks print off led to this inflation crisis we're currently dealing with. And I, for one, don't want to deal with, you know, the $6 carton of eggs going up to being a $15 carton of eggs. We have to really stop and think about the way the government tends to operate whenever we say, oh, money needs to go towards this, because a lot of the time they aren't being responsible. They will print off money or just raise taxes instead of, hey, this is a priority. What in our budget isn't a priority right now that we can send this money towards to help fix this issue? The government doesn't think in terms like that, like normal people do. So when it comes to the student loan forgiveness, I am very weary of it because I know that it's going to set a irresponsibility precedent as well as another possible money printing inflation crisis.
I 100% agree with you. All right, before we let you go, Chris, let the people know how they can hear more about you, learn more about you. Here in Alamogordo, it is a very red area. Otero County, as you know, is probably the reddest county in the state. Let us know how we can learn more about you.
Well, you can find me on Facebook at Chris Ehmling. You'll see a picture of me wearing an orange plaid shirt. That's the campaign page. I am very quick to answer it. It has my phone number and email. If you would like to send me an email or call, I will answer anybody who would like to call and give me their concerns about what's facing our state and our district. I usually try to post there as much as possible, and I try to be as responsive as possible. I am currently in the process of getting signs and such made, so if you would like a sign, let me know, and I will make sure to order enough to get yard signs for y'all.
All right, sir. We thank you so much for joining us. I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
With the way things have been going over the last, well, the 21st century has been a train wreck politically. It has just been a wreck. And at your age, unfortunately, you're not old enough to remember when we pretty much got along.
Right.
In your life, it's just been dog eat dog. But I applaud you for stepping up and putting yourself out there and seeing what you can do. I think the people are getting to a point where they're sick and tired of, we used to call it partisanship. Anymore, it's tribalism. Maybe it is time that the third parties, this is their time to shine.
I truly think so. Across this nation right now, people are sick and tired of Republicans and Democrats ignoring our needs and sometimes making the problems worse. Personally, I think it's time for a big change across the country at all levels this year. And, you know, I encourage everyone to vote with their principles and conscience. But I do believe that our best bet this year would be to throw more support towards Libertarian, third party, and independent candidates. And that's one of the reasons why I'm running, too, is to help give people who feel like they've been left out of the process a voice. I think that's important.